Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about Apple, analyze the stock movement, the price movement for the past couple of weeks, potentially see if there's an assessment to be made as to where the price might be going, might be headed to in the next weeks, couple of weeks or so. So again, same big picture, the same elements are there on the chart as usual. There is a volume based price profile, also known as the market profile or the volume profile on the far right. I have 15 minutes. It's a 15-minute chart that has 90 days of data loaded. So at the outset, I'd like to just look at the 3 months of past activity. It's probably not enough to showcase what has been going on. If you do 6 months, a little bit of the bigger picture starts to emerge, and you start to see, at least the way I interpret, you start to see a big jump in the company's valuation about here, right? So we've gone from the 123, 120 area. We tested the upper 120s, you can say 130 almost, which is over here. Actually, it's too far. It tested the upper 125 area, dilly dallied a little bit in this zone, but then left it for good, right? So that happened once. The stock made an all-time high at 138, came back to test this area one more time, right? And this is the classic look below and fail that occurred right over here. Look below and fail, the LBF, right? Once once we got the LBF, we were guaranteed to test this area one more time. Pretty much how it normally how it works is that it always tries to go find the other edge of the balance, right? So in this case it was the HVE high value edge of 137 over here, which is this edge. It's somewhat easier to see, I guess, if I kind of decompress this, but it was bound to go and retest this high, and then at that point, a determination was going to be made either on part of retailers or investors or both as to, is Apple undervalued at this high, right? It turned out to be that the next couple of days, several weeks, well, actually, no, the whole week was spent exploring that new zone, right? And then this look above, it also failed. And that's how I'm positioning look above and fail, positioning myself in my trades, options or um, just the naked underlying instrument, what have you, doesn't matter. Point is that that's how I want to look at this big picture. So largely, what has really happened is that we've uh, asserted value uh, with a lot of confidence in the 128, 129 area. We left it for good and explored the 145 to 138 area, and very quickly retraced back into this balance area, right? This is the balance area. This is the area where most of the value has been. But that is not what the volume profile is saying. If you look at it, it seems to not be conclusive. Which of these areas, maybe I should expand the time axis a little bit more. Would that help us? I'm not sure if it does. But I'm just trying to get more space here, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Maybe if I just go back to the 90-day period. So 90-day makes it a little bit easier, okay, to see, because within the 90 days, within 3 months, we see that there are a couple of HVNs. There's this 135 HVN, the 129 HVN. It's kind of flattish over here, but you can take this collective edge of a 3 point range, right, as being the high value acceptance area. The value of the company was accepted at this particular price point or this range of prices. Now there is a clear distinction between this larger area of balance where the price has balanced for the past couple of weeks, and then this area, right? And guess where the separation is? It's exactly where we were saying there was a contest for upper prices or lower prices, and look below failed here first, and then it failed here next. So if I duplicate this drawing, there you go. Now this is only a 90-day picture. I would like to expand this to 6 months. If I put a 6-month lens on this, then the modalities here somewhat disappear. It starts to look like a flat structure, right? Looks like a large area of balance and with no unique edge right here for us to go test. Maybe this little baby edge 122. We don't have much going on in terms of what is the next stop if you look at it really big picture. Maybe if I did an hour. Okay, so now I've really decompressed this and I've done an hour. Where is the next edge? It's 117. This is really important. Whoops, I need my rectangle utility again here. This is the part that's really interesting for me. This zone, if we continue to see weakness, right? If we continue to see weakness deep into the 120 area, then we must test the edge 116. That is normally how the um, seeking of value works, where Apple will come and test 117, 118. It potentially might even come and test the 114 or 15 HVN with another edge at 113 and then the main edge right here, really main edge over here at 109 and 108. Okay, these areas potentially could be tested. It would still be a long-term uptrend, right? Let's hope I can. Oh goodness, yeah, we are still going to have a long-term uptrend right over here. This zone. Oh, quite a coincidence. We have a trend line coming right into the big HBN. Okay, so I expect the long time framers, right, the institutional investors who have holding periods, potentially um, larger than retail investors. Let's just assume you would expect that those guys step in right over here. So that's like the bigger picture for Apple. Now I want to actually go back to what's been happening recently. For that, I will just squish this down to a 15-minute and then go into a 15-minute and 90-day and just do a decompress of the chart and zoom in over here a little bit, just the last couple of weeks, right? So we got our look above and failed right at the top left edge over here. What has happened since then? Well, for one, Apple doesn't um, wait, does it? Getting a solid rejection over here at the weekly view up, and then the 50 and the 100 they reject, right? Look at this. So the 50 being the yellow one, and this other whatever it is, purple whatever, the 100 moving average. They kind of, first of all, the crossover price, drops hard to come and test the other HVN higher value node. Like I said, it was a bimodal profile, right? From the previous picture, you would have seen bimodal profile. It comes to test this zone very quickly. That's very interesting. It's almost like people are in a hurry to just get it over with, right? Get this test over with, and back to the uptrend we go. But did we go? No, we did not. We get a secondary look above and fail actually right over here. This coincides with the action we see on Tesla. Now, I don't know if these FANG plus plus stocks or what have you like to move together, TFANG now with Tesla, whatever, or what's really going on, but there is no reason. There is no reason for Apple to look above and fail here. Now we can say that this HVE of 136 has failed essentially. We've tested that edge of value and we want to come back and balance. Well, then I would assert then, okay, balance here then, right? Balance here, balance at 133, reject this area and go back and balance. But that's not what we're doing. It looks like we're continuing to remain under the traveling barometers. In fact, we were somewhat, up and down and above in range almost in this zone here with respect to the moving averages, right? But it's got not they are becoming nice traveling resistances almost, and the price cannot break through. It offers great peaks for buying puts or the short sellers, whatever, and that's it. And then it falls back in. So this is obviously somewhat concerning from a holding perspective or a buying perspective. I would think that now is not the time to buy. That's I'm going to just zoom out to a 30-minute and a 180-day here, and then do a plus back in here just to show you where we might be heading. I wouldn't be a buyer of Apple just yet. I would want to get an LBF. Let me duplicate this one more time. I would want to be an LBF in this zone. I really do want. Um, I really do want one of these edges to be tested. Unfortunately, I keep bumping into this flattening of my volume profile. You know, I want to see the modalities. Only then I can be confident that what I'm talking about is real. So this edge is real, the 121 edge, right? And then this one again, the main edge, 124. All of this activity right here, up above, has been exploratory activity. This has been really the exploratory activity right here, right? The price has explored this zone and rejected it for now, forming a tiny, tiny HVN over here at 143, which is interesting because that becomes a magnet now in the future. Anywhere you get these baby baby HVNs, it's not a high value node, a low value node maybe. No, I'm sorry, HVN only. That's an HVN, right? So anytime you get these, shorten this. Um, they call them these poor highs, right? The volume profile technicians. I don't think I am going to call myself a technician, a volume profile technician. I don't know the volume profile as deeply as the Dalton followers, but when I get by, I know enough to be able to trade futures profitably, as you can see from the other videos on my channel. But this high, there has been some activity here. Now you can say that buyers were trapped here. It doesn't really matter. I don't really know what that really gets us, but we know that there was some activity and some interest here. But that failed. That interest failed, and now we've come back to retrace. Not only, but we didn't bounce on this edge of 137. We rejected that 137 edge really hard. Okay, and now we are forming this. What is this? This is a edge, right? It's like a droopy edge that's forming. Let's see if I can just complete that picture here. Droopy edge is forming. Where are we headed? I think we're headed to LBF, this zone here, 123. It happens to coincide with a prior high and a zone of, I can't even call it congestion because it hasn't seen much activity recently. However, big picture, we find that it has actually been an area of rejection and look above and fail before this area right here. Let's see, look at the drawing and put it over here. So this area has been a look above and fail area before, okay, and was broken through. So I expect this to be tested one more time. So we should see 124, we might see 117. I will add here at this HVN, and I will potentially add to my existing Apple holding big time right over here in this zone. I consider Apple's value to be here in the near term before we look below and fail one more time from this zone, and we balance back up into here and make a big HVN before proceeding forward. That of course depends on a lot of things, on the earnings, performance of the iPhone, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so that's I think I've done a fairly decent job of describing what I think about the price action. I don't think I've left out anything major that I normally look at. Um, some folks might be wondering what these indicators up on the top left over here are. These labels. They are nothing but cumulative volume. This one, and this is the relative volume ratio that I use. Sometimes I use it mostly for futures, which is normally what I put over here on my charts, right? /ES/NQ, whatever. But this is nothing but like on a 15-minute chart. Um, on a 15-minute chart, the rel volume ratio will give us the volume of the current bar divided by the volume of the 26 bars ago, which happens to be the same time frame the previous day, like that. It just tells me in the same time today, what is the activity like in terms of volume. That gives me kind of a gauge of like whatever I'm seeing in terms of price action, is it being supported by similar intent as to what this particular hour, uh, this stock sees in at this particular hour on a usual day. Anyway, so that's Apple, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.